Hey, Tommy from the Run Testers with another running shoe versus. In this video, we are going to be doing a comparison of the Asics Gel-Nimbus 26 and the New Balance More V4. Now, I was sent the Gel-Nimbus 26 from the team over at Sport Shoes. I'm not paid to do this review. I can say whatever I want, but big thanks to the guys for getting us over so I can actually do some videos on the shoe. If you go into the caption below, you can find a link to the shoe on the Sport Shoes website to find out a bit more about it if we don't cover it in this review. Right, let's jump in and do the versus. The Asics Gel-Nimbus 26 costs £180 or $160. It weighs 301 grams or 10.6 ounces for men in a size 8 and the drop is 8mm. The New Balance More V4 costs £140 or $149.99. It weighs 298 grams or 10.5 ounces for men in a size 8 and the drop is 4mm. The Asics Gel-Nimbus 26 is a max stack cushion shoe focusing on comfort over easy days and long runs. Unlike the Gel-Nimbus 25, which saw major changes from the previous versions, the 26 sees modifications to the upper, an improved rubber outsole, an added rocker and a slightly firmer midsole. The shoe combines a thick layer of FF Blast Plus Eco Foam with the brand's pure gel technology to provide a soft and cushioned ride that reduces impact. The new breathable upper and collar construction aims to improve the fit and provide a high level of stepping comfort, while the updated outsole rubber is designed to increase grip and durability. The Fresh Foam More V4 is a max cushion shoe designed for plush, comfortable miles that features a number of design updates over the More V3. The biggest of those is the addition of even more Fresh Foam X midsole foam that makes it higher and wider than its predecessor, a design feature that aims to improve the stability of the ride as well. New Balance has also updated the outsole with new cushion zones across the length of the shoe, as well as flex zones to give it a more natural feel on the run. The shoe still features a rocker profile for a smooth transition and a modified engineered mesh upper that's built to feel plush but ensure ample breathability. The outsole is covered with a generous level of rubber for grip and to protect the midsole foam. There's also a reflective logo on the shoe for added visibility at night. So the fit for me in these two shoes, I'm size 8 in the UK, these are both size 8s. I found both of them to be very comfortable shoes. The New Balance More V4, I've done a lot of miles in and had no issues in it at all. I would definitely stick to my size in the New Balance More V4. The Nimbus 26, it's quite a roomy shoe. When you first put it on, it does feel like there's a lot of space available in this shoe. I didn't have a problem with it after a bit, but I can feel that it isn't a really locked down type fit sometimes when I'm wearing it. So I would say you might want to go down half a size in the Gel-Nimbus 26 just because it's a little bit roomy. I was okay with it, but I probably could have gone down half a size.
So when it comes to the fit of the two shoes, I've got a UK 9 in both shoes, which for New Balance is a US 9.5 and it's a US 10 in the Asics. So as you might expect, the Asics is a little bit roomier, but actually I think in general the Nimbus is quite a big fitting shoe. I always have a UK 9 with Asics, and for most shoes it's kind of okay, but with the really big cushion shoes like the Kayano and the Nimbus, it does tend to actually be a little bit big. So if you're someone like me who's right on the fence in between sizes, you could maybe look at the smaller size of the two. The More V4 has a fairly tight fit. I'd say maybe it's the other end of the scale here, because even though it obviously is a bit smaller as a US 9.5, I think it actually is a fairly small shoe. So maybe if you're right on the fence between sizes, you can maybe look at the half size up in the More V4. I've been happy enough with my normal shoe size in both of them though. They've got a good enough hold around the heel and midfoot that I've not had any slippage or concerns about that. And I've done long runs in the New Balance with no concerns about the amount of room in the toe box. So yeah, all in all, the fit's been okay. My normal UK size, probably US sizing will be a better way to go with these two shoes, I think, to get a more accurate fit potentially. So you've got a couple of big chunky shoes here that really are at their best at easy paces and well designed for long runs, I would say. I kind of enjoyed testing both of these shoes. I'm not a huge user of max cushion shoes myself. I don't tend to feel that I need this much cushioning on the run, even for easy runs, but I don't mind testing these shoes. They're comfortable enough and protect the legs well. Both pretty beefy and heavy, neither particularly versatile, but on that front I do think the Asics probably has a slightly nimbler, lighter ride to it. You've got a bit more bounce from the foam. I'd say the foam in the Nimbus 26 is a little bit better than the foam in the More V4. You've got a slightly more softer feel to that FF Blast Plus and a bit more of a bounce to it as well. It's also very resilient foam, so it holds up very well throughout runs. The More V4 feels really nice for long runs, but I think it's a lot more down to the rocker geometry you have here, the lower drop, the big stable design, supports you on all sides and just rolls you through your foot strike really nicely. If you do try and move at any kind of speed, you do feel how dull the foam is in the More V4 a little bit more. It's really not giving you a lot back if you're doing that, but when you are just cruising along, it feels very nice. It's got that supportive, stable feel. Both of them actually have quite naturally stable shoes, but I do think the More V4 is a slightly more stable design for a neutral shoe with those big sidewalls of foam and the rocker you have here. Asics, like I say, slightly livelier feel to the foam, but really with both shoes, I'd be restricting them to easy runs as what they do best for sure. The More V4 obviously has a lower drop. It is quite a low drop, but I don't really feel like it felt like a very low drop on the run. It's got quite a big rocker at the forefoot there. I think that's really the sensation of the run you get from this shoe, is just the flowing rocker feel, which works very well if you are just shuffling along, mooching along at an easy pace, letting the shoe help you tick over. It's when you try and extend beyond those paces that I think it becomes a bit clunky, but I really did like just cruising through long runs in the shoe and easy runs and that kind of thing. So the Asics, you've got a bit more of a snap through to it. It actually can be a little bit slappy with the new outsole. The Asics Gel-Nimbus 26, I found, like it's got a slightly slappy sound to it at times, especially if you try and run at any kind of pace, but for the most part it's fairly smooth. Got a bit of a rocker as well, and you are getting a nice comfortable base obviously with all that foam underfoot. So pretty enjoyable run test in both shoes. There are some small differences. You've got a smoother ride with the More V4, you've got a slightly more versatile feel and a slightly more bouncy foam in the Asics, but both of them I'd say are definitely at their best for those easy and long runs, and that's how I'd slip them into my rotation.
So these are two shoes that on paper appear very similar. They're both very big cushioned shoes. They're designed for those easy runs, longer runs, comfortable daily miles, all those sorts of things where you just want a lot of cushioning and comfort and plushness, that sort of stuff. I've done a lot of miles in the New Balance More V4. It's one of my favourite cushion shoes that I've ever used. The reason I like it so much is it's not the softest shoe in the round. I really do like soft shoes quite a lot, and it does have a nice level of softness to it, but for me it's the rocker action for it. I really like the smooth feel of this shoe. Once you get into a nice fluid long run, easy run in it, it just taps you forward nicely, just moves you along. It's not a necessarily bouncy shoe, it's not a squishy shoe, it's just got a nice balance of cushioning, but also that smooth turnover as well. I also like the really wide base on it. It feels very stable. It feels like when you're putting your feet on the ground, it's really firmly touching the ground and there's no sort of wobbling or anything like that, which you can get with some max cushion shoes. So I'm a big fan of the New Balance More V4 and the previous More V3. I just think it's a really solid, comfortable, easy day shoe. And I've done long runs in this as well. I've gone up to about 20 miles in this shoe. It's not great for long runs. It's not poppy. It's not going to help you with energy return or anything, but it does just cruise you through it. It's a very nice, enjoyable run if you're just maintaining a nice, comfortable pace. The Asics Gel-Nimbus 26, it's similar in a lot of ways, but that midsole foam is a little bit more life to it. So it does feel a bit bouncier. It does feel, as soon as you put it on, you can sort of feel a little bit more of that energy return in it when you pick it up. It's also a pretty stable shoe. I don't think it's as stable as a New Balance More V4, but it is a pretty stable shoe. It's a very solid shoe. It feels like there's a lot of midsole foam really hitting the ground. It's nice and wide. What I would say about it is that I don't feel that the rocker is as noticeable as the one in the New Balance More V4, and as a result I don't feel like the transitions are as smooth in this shoe as they are in that shoe. I do think it's a more fun feeling shoe. You can definitely feel that bounce as soon as you start wearing it, but once I've done probably 5k in this shoe, maybe I'm going out for a long run, I do feel like it's missing the rocker that I like in the New Balance More V4. It's a very nice shoe. It's very enjoyable to wear if you're a beginner, if you're a general runner. It's a great option for just having something in comfort that just is really enjoyable to go running in. But for me, it just lacks that sort of rocker design that I get from New Balance More V4. I probably like the foam more in the Gel-Nimbus 26, but I just like the way that the New Balance More V4 rides in comparison to it. The other thing is, and I think Nick mentions this as well, it's got a very slappy outsole. I notice this every time I'm running in it, and I do find it quite annoying. Just feel a bit loud when you're running down the streets. The outsole on both these shoes is absolutely fine. I don't have any issues at all. There's an updated outsole on the Nimbus 26, which is partly why it's bit slappy, but it is very good at gripping on wet surfaces and things like that. New Balance More V4, absolutely fine. I've had no issues with that at all either. So the verdict for me on these two shoes, it's a tricky one because I really do like both of these shoes. I think they're really good, solid options if you're looking for comfort and daily miles, easy miles. Neither of them is particularly good if you're picking up the pace for me. I would actually I think Nick mentions that the Nimbus 26 is a little bit more versatile. I don't really find that myself. I think both of these, you're pretty much stuck at a pace, which is easy pace. You're not going to be going any faster in it. And once you try and pick up the pace in it, they're just not designed to do that. But for me, I think it really just comes down to the rocker feel, and I just enjoy the feel of the New Balance More V4 geometry a bit more. It just feels a little bit more enjoyable when you're cruising in it. And I think also, I know Nick prefers the Nimbus 26 because he feels like it's a bit poppier when you're running at faster paces. Nick runs quite a bit faster than me, so I think he's probably using the shoe a little bit differently than I am. I'm running in these shoes at a pace of probably about 5-minute kilometers, which Nick very rarely does. And as a result, I think I'm probably getting the best out of the New Balance More V4 as opposed to the Gel-Nimbus 26. But having said that, they're both great shoes. If I had either of these shoes for my easy runs and long runs and that sort of thing, I'd be more than happy. I just think it comes down to that rocker motion, but also the fact that it's considerably cheaper to get the New Balance More V4. I don't know when the New Balance More V5 comes out, hopefully it won't go up in price massively to match shoes like the Gel-Nimbus 26. But if it doesn't, then it's a really, really good option if you're looking for a cushioned easy run shoe, because there's not a lot in it for me between these two shoes. But there is when it comes to the price. So I definitely pick up the New Balance More V4 over the Gel-Nimbus 26 based on that. But having said that, the shoes go down in price quite a lot. I think the Gel-Nimbus 25 dropped by quite a lot quite early on after it was released, so you might be able to pick up the Gel-Nimbus 26 cheaper in the near future, or just get the Gel-Nimbus 25, which is very, very similar. I'd probably say almost identical for me in terms of what I get out of those shoes. Equally, the New Balance More V4 went down in price massively quite early on after its release as well, so you can probably pick these shoes or the older version of this shoe, the Nimbus 26, up pretty cheap at some point. So if price isn't an option, I would still go for the New Balance More V4, but I think for a lot of people the Gel-Nimbus 26 has a little bit more fun in it, and a little bit more bounce in that midsole foam.
When it comes to the verdict, I would probably go for the More V4 as the cheaper shoe, as I really felt that they do a similar job and they do it similarly well, if in slightly different ways. I think if I was just going to pick up a shoe to put in rotation as an easy run shoe, the More V4 does that job really well. It's supportive, stable. I like the rocker on the shoe. It ticks over nicely when you're at that very relaxed pace and almost helps keep you at that relaxed pace, because it really isn't a shoe to try and up the pace in. I don't think it's a bit heavy and a bit clunky if you try and do that, but as an easy day shoe, it does its job really well. So if you're looking though for a cushioned daily trainer, for something that you are going to use for a bit of everything, I think the Asics is the more versatile shoe. It's probably the one that I would recommend that if you're a beginner runner just starting out wanting one shoe for all your runs. I think the Asics does a really good job of that, because it does have that slightly more lively foam. It can move at pace a little bit better while still being very comfortable and protective for its main job, which is as an easy run shoe for cruising around in. It's also got that slightly higher drop, which generally I think is good if you're just starting out with running, but like I say, it's got quite a rocker on the More V4, so that low drop doesn't necessarily feel as low as it is, in my opinion. Difference in price is very stark though. The Gel-Nimbus is a fair bit more expensive than the More V4, and if you're just looking for an easy shoe to add to your rotation, the More V4 does that job really well, and you're getting a lot better value with it. So that would be another reason to go for the New Balance. Can also pick up the older Gel-Nimbus, I would say, which is very similar. The Gel-Nimbus 25, very similar to the Gel-Nimbus 26. All the stuff I've talked about in the review would apply to that shoe as well. So if you do see that shoe in a big sale and the price is more equivalent with the More V4, you can make a bit of a better choice for having to think about value there. But overall, I'd get the More V4. I like the way it rocks through the stride quite nicely for those easy runs. Like I say, I probably wouldn't be a big user of either shoe myself, but if I was getting one, it would be for the easy run shoe in my rotation, and the More V4 does that job better. But if you are looking for a cushion shoe just to use for all your runs and want something that has a bit more pace and you are looking to run a bit faster at times, I think the Nimbus probably does that job a little bit better.
Okay, so that's it from us on this versus of the New Balance More V4 and the Asics Gel-Nimbus 26. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the little bell and all those things. And if you go into the caption below, you can find a link to the Gel-Nimbus 26 on the Sports Shoes website. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.